Hello, brothers and sisters. I'm so glad you're here today. Let's take a deep breath together, because what we're about to uncover could completely transform the way you see your environment, your health, and even your spiritual life. Sometimes the things we overlook daily, the small, ordinary habits, can hold extraordinary power over our peace, our energy, and our blessings. And today, we're going to expose one of those hidden factors that might be blocking your breakthrough without you even realizing it. Your bed is not just a piece of furniture where you lie down at night. It is an altar of rest, a sacred zone where your body, mind, and spirit reconnect with divine rhythm. Too many people treat their beds as a storage area, piling up clothes, books, devices, and random items without realizing the invisible damage being done. Let me tell you something powerful. Your bed holds the energy of your life. It's where you spend 1/3 of your existence, where your thoughts slow down, where healing takes place, and where your spirit becomes sensitive to divine whispers. If the space that hosts that kind of transformation is cluttered, it's no surprise that peace and blessing feel blocked. Think about it. How many times have you come home exhausted, dropped everything on your bed, and said, "I'll fix it later"? Then later becomes tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes next week. That pile of things begins to grow, and without realizing it, your sleeping altar becomes a battlefield of disorder. You lay your head in the middle of chaos, expecting calm. You're asking your body to rest while your surroundings scream confusion. It doesn't work that way. The body and spirit respond to the environment they're in. When you sleep on a cluttered bed, your subconscious mind registers disorder, keeping your nervous system slightly alert. That's why you wake up feeling tired, even after 8 hours of sleep. Your body was lying down, but your spirit never rested. Now, here's the hook. You may say, Dr. David, it's just a few clothes, it doesn't matter. But in truth, it does. Every item around you carries a vibration. Dirty laundry holds stagnant energy. Piles of unread papers represent unfinished business. Devices emit electromagnetic waves that interfere with melatonin production, the hormone responsible for deep sleep. All of these together form a cocktail of chaos that silently blocks peace, clarity, and even blessings. When your bed is cluttered, your energy field is congested. And when your energy is congested, favor finds no room to settle. Your bed should be treated like an altar of healing. When you enter that space, your body should instantly recognize safety. The sheets should feel clean. The air should feel light, and the environment should whisper rest. It's not about luxury, it's about sanctity. Even science backs this up. Studies show that individuals who maintain clean, organized sleeping spaces experience higher quality rest, lower blood pressure, improved mood, and stronger immune response. The brain associates a clean bed with comfort, and that association triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's natural healing mechanism. That's not just psychology, it's physiology responding to divine order. And there's a spiritual layer to this as well. When Jacob laid his head on a stone, he encountered a ladder to heaven, a divine connection. The location wasn't special, the order was. He prepared a place for rest, and heaven responded. But what if he had been surrounded by distractions or clutter? He might have missed the moment. You see, heaven meets us where peace is present. A chaotic environment makes it difficult for divine energy to settle. When your bed is in order, you are symbolically declaring, "I am ready for peace to dwell here." That simple act becomes a physical prayer. I've met people who pray for miracles but live in environments that resist those miracles. They plead for healing but rest in chaos. They ask for clarity but sleep surrounded by confusion. It's like planting seeds in stony soil and wondering why nothing grows. Order attracts blessing because order reflects the nature of God. When you clear your bed, you're not just cleaning. You're aligning your space with divine structure. You're telling the universe, I value my rest, I value my peace, and I'm ready to receive. I challenge you tonight to look at your bed differently. Remove the piles, turn off the devices, fold the clothes, refresh your sheets, spray a scent that calms your mind, lavender, chamomile, or even a soft candlelight glow. Then stand beside your bed and speak life into it. Declare that it will no longer be a dumping ground for distraction, but an altar for restoration. As you do, something powerful begins to shift, not just in the room, but within you. Your thoughts begin to clear, your breathing deepens, and your energy realigns. You start to sense peace settling over you like a blanket from heaven. This isn't superstition, it's spiritual science. The external order mirrors internal harmony. The cleaner your environment, the freer your mind. The freer your mind, the healthier your body. The healthier your body, the clearer your spirit. That's why the simple act of clearing your bed can unlock blessings. Because blessings don't flow into confusion, they flow into alignment. So tonight, treat your bed as sacred space. Remove anything that doesn't serve peace. Make it a sanctuary where your body heals, your mind resets, and your spirit connects with divine strength. You will be amazed at how quickly things begin to change, how anxiety fades, how rest deepens, how favor begins to flow. Because sometimes the secret to break through isn't another prayer, it's the peace you create in the place where you rest. Stress has become one of the most silent killers of our generation. It weakens the body, clouds the mind, and drains the spirit. Yet many people don't realize that one of the biggest contributors to their stress might not be their job, their bills, or their relationships. It might be the very environment where they sleep. Clutter, especially around your bed, has a powerful psychological and physiological impact that most people overlook. When your surroundings are disorganized, your nervous system stays on alert. Your cortisol levels rise, and your body quietly slips into a state of tension. You may think you're resting, but your body is actually fighting an invisible war against chaos. Imagine walking into a room where clothes are scattered, books are piled up, and items are stacked on every surface. Even if you tell yourself it doesn't bother you, your brain is working overtime to process all that visual noise. Every item represents an unfinished task, a decision you haven't made, or a reminder of something undone. This constant mental stimulation keeps your body in low-grade stress mode. You can't relax fully because your environment keeps whispering, something's not right. And that message, repeated night after night, chips away at your inner peace and physical well-being. Here's the hook. Clutter doesn't just look messy, it talks. It speaks to your nervous system, telling it that life is out of control. The body responds to that message with elevated heart rate, faster breathing, and a surge of stress hormone. Over time, this creates a pattern of chronic tension that affects your sleep quality, digestion, immune response, and even your ability to think clearly. When you lie down on a bed surrounded by clutter, you're not entering a sanctuary. You're stepping into a battlefield. The body cannot heal in the same environment that's stressing it out. Think of your mind like a computer. Every object in your line of sight is an open tab. The more tabs you have open, the slower your system runs. Clutter overloads your brain with unnecessary information, leaving little room for restoration and creativity. You might wake up in the morning feeling heavy, groggy, or irritated, not because you didn't sleep long enough, but because your mind never found stillness. A messy room equals a busy mind equals a restless body. That's why people who keep their bedrooms tidy report feeling calmer, sleeping deeper, and waking up more refreshed. Science confirms what ancient wisdom has always taught: order produces peace. Studies have shown that individuals living in cluttered environments have higher levels of cortisol, the primary stress hormone. Elevated cortisol over time leads to inflammation, fatigue, anxiety, and even weight gain. Spiritually, it also blocks clarity and connection. The same way your body reacts to physical clutter, your spirit reacts to spiritual disorder. You cannot invite peace into a space that constantly reflects chaos. Let me ask you a question. How can God speak to a heart that's surrounded by noise? How can your spirit find rest when your body is lying in disorder? Even creation itself operates on divine structure. The sun rises and sets in order, the tides flow in rhythm, and the seasons change with precision. When your environment is in disorder, you are living out of sync with that divine rhythm. Bringing order to your space is not just about cleaning, it's about aligning yourself with the natural flow of peace. Here's something practical yet deeply spiritual. When you declutter your bedroom, you're also decluttering your energy field. The human body is sensitive to its surroundings. The nervous system is constantly scanning the environment, determining if it's safe or not. Clutter signals uncertainty, cleanliness signals safety. When you walk into a peaceful room, your body automatically exhales, your shoulders drop, your breathing deepens, your heart rate slows. This is your body's way of saying, I can rest here. And when the body feels safe, healing begins. I remember speaking to a woman who said, "Dr. David, I don't know why I feel so anxious all the time. I pray, I meditate, but the tension never leaves." I asked her to describe her bedroom, and she said, "It's a bit messy, but that shouldn't matter, right?" I told her, "Start there." A week later, she called me in tears. I didn't realize how much lighter I'd feel just by cleaning my room. She said, "It felt like something heavy left my spirit." That's the power of order. It doesn't just change your surroundings, it changes your chemistry. Stress thrives in confusion. Peace thrives in clarity. When you bring order to your environment, your brain stops producing constant alerts. You move from survival mode to restoration mode. The body begins to heal, the mind begins to clear, and the spirit begins to tune into higher frequencies of calm and faith. What looks like a small act, folding clothes, clearing a nightstand, putting your phone away, actually becomes an act of healing. You are telling your body it's safe to rest now. If you want to reduce stress, don't just focus on supplements or techniques. Start with your surroundings. Your health begins where you rest. If the place of your rest is chaotic, your healing will be delayed. But when your room reflects serenity, your body naturally follows. The mind quiets, the heart steadies, the spirit opens, because peace is not just a feeling, it's an atmosphere, and you have the power to create it. Everything around you carries energy. The clothes you wear, the books you read, the objects you keep near your bed, all of them hold vibrations that speak to your subconscious mind. Your environment is constantly sending silent messages to your spirit, shaping your emotions, your thoughts, and even the way you rest. The problem is that most people have no idea that the very objects lying beside them each night may be silently draining their peace. The photos, the old letters, the unused devices, the sentimental clutter, these are not just items. They are energy anchors holding you emotionally hostage to seasons that have already ended. Here's the truth many ignore: your surroundings are not passive. Every object has memory. When you hold on to things that belong to your past, especially those tied to pain, loss, or regret, you are keeping the energy of that experience alive in your atmosphere. It's like sleeping next to an open book from a chapter you were meant to close. No wonder some people wake up feeling heavy even after hours of rest. The spirit cannot fully heal when it's surrounded by emotional residue. What you call just stuff might actually be the reason your peace feels distant and your spirit feels tired. Let me ask you a question that might challenge you. What are you sleeping next to? For some, it's an old photo that reopens emotional wounds every time their eyes fall upon it. For others, it's a phone overflowing with negative energy from constant scrolling, arguments, or stress, inducing news. Some keep gifts or reminders from toxic relationships, not realizing that those objects act as emotional magnets, pulling your energy back into old cycles of pain. The moment you hold onto something that carries a memory of brokenness, you invite that same vibration back into your space. You're saying, without words, I'm still tied to this. And as long as you're tied to the past, the blessings of the present cannot fully manifest. Energy never lies. You can clean your room and make it look perfect, but if you keep spiritually contaminated objects nearby, your peace will still feel interrupted. You'll sleep but not rest. You'll breathe but not feel free. That's because the atmosphere around your bed, the space where your spirit opens most deeply during sleep, is being influenced by the unseen vibrations of what you allow to remain. The body may not see it, but the spirit feels it. Now here's the hook. Detoxing your space is not just about organization, it's about liberation. When you remove objects that carry old energy, you're not just cleaning, you're healing. You are breaking energetic contracts that were keeping you bound to yesterday's pain. Think about it. When you remove a gift from an ex who hurt you, you're not being petty. You're reclaiming your emotional territory. When you let go of something that carries the memory of loss or betrayal, you're not erasing your history. You're freeing your spirit to receive new joy. That act alone can release waves of emotional energy that bring immediate peace. Science and spirituality agree on this point. Studies in environmental psychology show that people surrounded by sentimental clutter experience more anxiety, lower mood, and mental fatigue. Your brain processes everything in your environment, even subconsciously. When it constantly encounters objects that trigger emotional responses, your nervous system remains slightly activated. That's why you can't fully relax. But when your space is clean and energetically light, your brain receives a message of safety. That message tells your body it's okay to let go. It's okay to heal. Some people struggle with insomnia or restless sleep, not realizing it's not their diet or their schedule. It's their atmosphere. Your bed should be a sanctuary of peace, not a museum of emotional memories. Every night your spirit recharges, but if it's surrounded by unresolved energy, that recharge becomes incomplete. You wake up spiritually exhausted because your environment didn't support your restoration. I've counseled people who felt stuck in cycles of sadness or stagnation. They tried prayer, therapy, meditation, but nothing shifted, and then I'd ask a simple question: what's in your room that reminds you of pain? That question alone has changed lives. When they finally removed those objects, their entire atmosphere shifted. They reported sleeping better, thinking clearer, and feeling lighter, as if a heavy fog had lifted, because sometimes deliverance doesn't come from what you add, but from what you remove. Energy healing begins with awareness. Every item in your space should either inspire peace or serve purpose. If it does neither, it's working against your well-being. Start observing what's around your bed. Ask yourself, does this item make me feel calm, grateful, and renewed? If not, it's time to let it go. You don't have to throw everything away. Just remove it from your rest zone. Allow your bed to become a space of spiritual neutrality, a clean canvas where only fresh, positive energy can flow. When your sleeping environment carries light energy, you'll notice an immediate difference. Your dreams become clearer, your emotions more balanced, your mornings brighter. You'll start feeling at peace in ways that don't need explanation. That's the silent reward of energy alignment. The spirit begins to vibrate in harmony with blessing rather than conflict. Your environment is a mirror of your inner state. If you want more peace, surround yourself with peaceful things. If you want more joy, remove what reminds you of sorrow. When you do, you're not just cleaning your room, you're resetting your frequency. And the moment your frequency changes, everything connected to you begins to change too. Because the energy you sleep beside tonight can determine the strength you wake up with tomorrow. Sleep is one of the most sacred processes in the human experience. It is during those quiet hours that your body repairs itself, your mind reorganizes, and your spirit becomes open to divine alignment. But what many people fail to understand is that the quality of your sleep is not determined only by how long you rest. It is deeply influenced by the environment in which you rest. A disorganized or chaotic sleeping space does more than just look messy. It sends a signal to your entire being that peace is unavailable. When your bed and surroundings are cluttered, your body cannot enter full restoration mode, your mind cannot settle into calm rhythm, and your spirit cannot tune in to the quiet whispers of divine guidance. Think about it. How many times have you tried to fall asleep but found your mind racing, your thoughts scattered, or your emotions unsettled? You probably assumed it was stress or caffeine, but often the cause is environmental confusion. Your senses are always active. Even when your eyes are closed, your body is still aware of the energy around you. A pile of clothes at the corner of your room or the glare of a device screen beside your pillow might seem small, but they communicate disorder to your nervous system. Your brain translates that disorder as danger, keeping you in a light state of alertness. The result is shallow sleep, restless dreams, and mornings filled with fatigue instead of renewal. Here's the hook. Every night, your bedroom becomes a spiritual and biological laboratory. The lighting, the sounds, the air quality, and the organization of your space all influence the way your body releases melatonin, the hormone that governs your sleep-wake cycle. When your environment is chaotic, your body misreads the cues of night and fails to fully activate deep rest. This isn't just about comfort, it's about chemistry. Disorder in your sleep space disrupts the rhythm your body was designed to follow. And when that rhythm breaks, your immunity drops, your emotional resilience weakens, and your spiritual sensitivity becomes dull. Sleep is a divine design. It's God's way of resetting the human system. But how can that reset occur when the space meant for peace becomes a center of confusion? Spiritually, the enemy works through distraction and disorder. The more cluttered your environment, the more clouded your discernment. It becomes difficult to hear direction from God, to receive revelation, or to sense inner peace. You cannot dream clearly when your physical and spiritual atmosphere is polluted. That's why some people go to bed heavy and wake up heavier. Their bodies lie down, but their spirits wrestle all night because the environment isn't conducive for divine communication. Let's look at it practically. When your bedroom is dark, quiet, and orderly, your brain releases serotonin and melatonin smoothly. Your heart rate slows, your muscles relax, and your spirit enters stillness. But when the environment is filled with noise, bright light, or clutter, your adrenal glands stay active. They release stress hormones like cortisol, tricking your body into thinking it needs to stay awake. This imbalance doesn't just affect your sleep. It affects your mood, digestion, focus, and even your immune strength. A single night of poor rest weakens your natural defenses, but consistent disorder can create long-term exhaustion that feels spiritual in nature but is rooted in lifestyle choices. I've met people who say, "Dr. David, I pray every night, but I still wake up anxious." And my first question is, what does your sleeping space look like? You see, prayer works best in places of peace. When your room reflects order, your prayer resonates more powerfully because the atmosphere agrees with your intention. But when the environment is cluttered, even your prayer energy has to fight through layers of resistance. It's not that God doesn't hear, it's that your spirit can't fully receive. Sleep was never meant to be a luxury. It is a spiritual necessity. The body heals while the spirit listens. In those hours, your immune system repairs cells, your brain organizes memories, and your soul becomes receptive to divine downloads. But for all that to happen, the atmosphere must be still. The physical disorder you allow in your space becomes a spiritual disturbance. You might not hear it, but your body feels it. That's why peace of mind begins with peace of environment. Imagine your bed as an altar of restoration. Every time you lie down, your body should sense that it's entering a sanctuary, a place where heaven and healing meet. If your altar is filled with clutter, your connection is interrupted. You cannot receive a full charge in a space of distraction. A clear, peaceful environment amplifies the signals of healing and divine presence. The mind quiets, the body releases tension, and the spirit aligns effortlessly. Your physical environment and your spiritual rhythm are more intertwined than you realize. The same God who designed galaxies also designed your need for rest. He placed a pattern in creation: 6 days of work, 1 day of rest, light and darkness, sowing and reaping. Everything divine flows in rhythm. When you sleep in confusion, you step outside that rhythm. When you restore order, you step back into alignment. And alignment is where health, clarity, and favor begin to flow. So if you've been waking up tired, anxious, or spiritually numb, take a closer look at where you sleep. Remove the noise, the clutter, the reminders of yesterday's chaos. Make your bedroom a temple of stillness, because in that silence, the body heals deeper, the mind grows stronger, and the spirit hears clearer. You don't just sleep, you are renewed, and in that renewal lies the foundation for both physical vitality and divine connection. Cleanliness is far more than a physical act. It is a reflection of inner harmony, discipline, and spiritual alignment. When you step into a clean, organized, and refreshed room, your body instantly recognizes peace. Your nervous system relaxes, your breathing deepens, and your mind releases its grip on chaos. This is not just psychological, it's biological, emotional, and spiritual. The moment you begin to cleanse your environment, healing energy starts to flow. A clean bed, fresh air, and orderly space don't just look good. They create a vibration that invites wellness into your body and blessings into your life. Let me tell you something most people don't realize. Your environment is medicine. The condition of your surroundings communicates directly with your body's internal systems. The brain interprets order as safety, and safety is the foundation of healing. When your bed is neat, your sheets are clean, and the air smells pure, your body instinctively enters a state called rest and repair. That's when your immune system strengthens, your cells regenerate, and your emotions stabilize. But when clutter and filth take over, your body stays in fight or flight mode. producing cortisol that weakens immunity, disrupts hormones, and feeds anxiety. Cleanliness, then, isn't just about appearance, it's a prescription for health and spiritual clarity. Here's the hook. Every time you clean, you are not only removing dust, you are moving energy. Dirt and clutter trap stagnant vibrations, the kind that keep you stuck emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. When you change your sheets, open your windows, and let light flood in, you are allowing new life to enter. That simple act of cleansing tells your environment, I'm ready for renewal. The body feels it, the mind senses it, and heaven responds to it. Because order and purity attract divine presence, just as light is drawn to clarity. Ancient cultures understood this truth deeply. They saw cleaning as a sacred ritual, not a chore. Before prayer or meditation, people would cleanse their bodies and their spaces, understanding that purity of environment enhances purity of spirit. Even in modern health science, we now know that cleanliness impacts the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's healing mechanism. When your surroundings are tidy, your brain shifts into a calm state, releasing endorphins and balancing serotonin in levels. That's why, after cleaning, you often feel lighter, more joyful, and more in control of your life. You're not just cleaning your room, you're resetting your energy field. Think about the atmosphere of a hospital. It's designed to be clean, sterile, and uncluttered because healing cannot thrive in disorder. The same principle applies to your home, especially your bed, where your body spends the most sacred hours of rest. When your sheets are fresh, your pillows are fluffed, and your space smells clean, your body recognizes that it is in a sanctuary. That recognition activates healing hormones, lowers your heart rate, and brings balance to your internal systems. God designed the body to respond to order because order mirrors his nature. When you maintain cleanliness, you are cooperating with divine design. But let's take it deeper. Cleanliness also affects your emotional and spiritual frequency. Dirt and clutter carry a vibration of delay, confusion, and stagnation. When you live in an untidy environment, you unconsciously absorb those energies. You start feeling unmotivated, sluggish, and overwhelmed. However, when you take time to clean, to organize, and to refresh your surroundings, you raise the vibration of your space. It becomes a magnet for clarity, creativity, and favor. You feel inspired, your thoughts sharpen, and your faith strengthens. Cleanliness is not just an external condition. It's an internal transformation reflected outward. Many people pray for healing but ignore the physical steps that invite healing energy into their lives. You cannot pray for peace and then live among disorder. You cannot expect clarity when your environment mirrors confusion. God works through principles, and one of his greatest principles is purity. The cleaner your environment, the easier it becomes for your spirit to align with his presence. That's why some people find breakthroughs right after they cleanse their space, because they have unknowingly removed spiritual blockages that were attached to dirt and disorganization. One of the most powerful moments of transformation comes when you learn to treat cleaning as worship. As you wipe surfaces, you're symbolically removing emotional residue. As you wash your sheets, you're cleansing away spiritual fatigue. As you open the windows, you're letting in new breath, both physically and spiritually. Every sweep, every fold, every scent of freshness becomes a declaration that you are ready for newness. You are not only cleaning your room, you are preparing the atmosphere for divine visitation. Your body responds almost instantly to a clean environment. Studies show that clean spaces reduce anxiety, improve concentration, and enhance sleep quality. But beyond science, there's something sacred about purity. Cleanliness amplifies blessings. It tells the universe and your creator that you value what you have been given. It says, I'm ready for more. When your space is pure, your thoughts align, your emotions stabilize, and your energy becomes magnetic to good things. So the next time you make your bed, don't see it as a routine task. See it as an act of healing. When you clean your room, understand that you are resetting your energy field. When you keep your surroundings pure, you are declaring to life itself that you are ready to thrive. Because the truth is, a clean environment is not just a healthy habit, it's a spiritual signal. It tells heaven that peace has a place to dwell, healing has room to flow, and blessings have permission to enter. Your bed should be a sanctuary, a sacred place where your body rests, your mind recharges, and your spirit renews. But what happens when that very place, the one meant to restore your strength, becomes a harbor for negativity, stagnation, and unclean energy? Many people don't realize that the physical state of their bed can reflect the spiritual and emotional state of their life. When your bed is cluttered, unclean, or filled with unnecessary items, it's not just disrupting your sleep, it's blocking your blessings. There's a powerful truth here. What surrounds you while you rest shapes what settles within you. If your bed carries disorder, emotional residue, or spiritual weight, your energy becomes entangled in that confusion night after night. Let's talk about what happens beneath the surface. The human body is designed to heal while it sleeps. During those precious hours, your cells regenerate, your brain detoxifies, and your spirit enters a state of quiet reflection. But when you lay down among clutter, clothes tossed around, electronics beside your pillow, or food wrappers hidden under the blanket, you are sleeping in chaos. That chaos communicates to your subconscious mind that you are unsafe, incomplete, or burdened. It prevents your nervous system from fully relaxing, and you wake up drained instead of refreshed. The body cannot restore itself in a space that mirrors disorder. You can't rest in peace when your environment screams disturbance. The unseen side of this truth is energetic. Everything around you holds a vibration. When your bed is crowded with unnecessary objects, whether it's old books, neglected laundry, or even sentimental items that carry emotional heaviness, you are allowing those vibrations to interfere with your peace. The same bed where you should be communing with divine calm becomes a battlefield of mixed energy. Have you ever wondered why you sometimes wake up feeling anxious or heavy, even after 8 hours of sleep? It's not just your mind, it's your environment. Energy flows where order exists, but it gets trapped where chaos lives. That's why cleanliness and simplicity are not just health habits. They are spiritual disciplines. Think about it. When a room is messy, your focus scatters. When your bed is cluttered, your thoughts wander. You lie down to rest, but your mind is still cataloging the disorder around you. The unwashed sheets remind you of unfinished tasks. The pile of clothes whispers guilt and procrastination. The electronics hum with distraction. All of these things are small thieves of peace, quietly robbing you of rest and clarity. And without true rest, your body becomes fatigued, your emotions become unstable, and your faith begins to feel dim. That's how the blockage begins, not in one moment, but gradually as chaos replaces calm. Here's the hook. Your bed carries energy. It records your emotions, your tears, your stress, and your moments of joy. That's why it's vital to refresh it regularly. Changing your sheets, airing out your mattress, and removing clutter isn't just good hygiene. It's spiritual maintenance. When you cleanse your sleeping space, you reset the energy that surrounds you each night. You are symbolically saying, I release the old and I welcome the new. You're not only cleaning your bed, you're cleansing your spirit. The body, mind, and soul are connected, and when you treat your physical space with care, heaven responds with clarity, healing, and favor. The health implications are profound. Research shows that a clutter-free and clean sleep environment reduces stress hormones, improves REM sleep, and enhances cardiovascular health. But beyond the biological, there's something sacred about purity in your resting place. The ancient concept of sacred rest wasn't just about sleep, it was about communion, allowing the body to connect with divine rhythm. When your space is clean, your spirit can ascend. When it's cluttered, your spirit struggles to find stillness. A dirty or disorganized bed creates energetic friction. It interrupts the natural flow of peace that should surround your rest. Now consider the emotional residue left behind by stress, anger, or fear. Every emotion releases an energy signature that lingers in the environment. When you go to bed upset or worried, that emotional energy can linger in your sheets, pillows, and blankets. Over time, those vibrations compound, creating an invisible heaviness that weighs on your soul. Cleaning your bed isn't just about removing physical dirt, it's about clearing emotional residue. It's saying, I refuse to sleep with yesterday's weight. When you lay on a clean bed, your spirit interprets that cleanliness as safety and freedom. It's like breathing in renewal with every exhale. What's fascinating is that this practice aligns with divine order. In scripture and in health principles alike, cleanliness represents purity, readiness, and blessing. God's presence dwells in order, not chaos. When your resting place is clean, you're not just inviting good health, you're inviting divine peace. A clean bed symbolizes spiritual readiness, a place where your heart can be still enough to receive guidance, restoration, and blessing. The body relaxes, the mind opens, and the soul feels at home. So when you take time to make your bed each morning, it's not a meaningless ritual. It's an act of alignment. When you wash your sheets, it's not routine, it's a reset. You're not just preparing a place to sleep, you're preparing a space for divine energy to dwell. Cleanliness in your sleeping space says to the universe, I am ready for rest, I am open to healing, I am available for blessing. And the universe, in turn, responds to that declaration. Your bed can either be your altar of peace or your pit of stagnation. Every night you choose which it will be. When you treat your bed as sacred, it becomes a place of rejuvenation, physically, mentally, and spiritually. You awaken lighter, more inspired, and more aligned with purpose. You start your day not in chaos, but in clarity. Because the truth is simple but powerful, when you cleanse your space, you cleanse your spirit. When you purify where you rest, you make room for blessings to manifest. Cleanliness isn't just a lifestyle, it's a language of alignment that heaven understands.